Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we are going to replace a bad sump pump with a new Zoller M53. Real simple, straightforward. Homeowner can do this themselves. Take you about 15-20 minutes at the most. Let's take a look. Let's go in the crawl space. This crawl space has a lot of room. Nice lighting. And over there is a sump pump. We're going to replace that pump.
Start by cutting the discharge line. Just need a good hacksaw. Next, go ahead and remove the pump. Just pull it out of the pit. Now it's time to plumb the sump pump. Remember, we start with the 1.5 inch threaded male adapter that screws into the pump. Next, we install an 1.5 inch PVC riser. This is so the water can be lifted up and carried away. We'll also add a check valve to prevent backflow.
Kind of want to show you why I like Zollers versus all these other store-bought pumps. In other words, this came from Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can see it has a float that swings up and it kicks it on and off. This float tends to get stuck on the side of your sump basin, and it'll usually get stuck in the on position and it just burns out your pump. The other option, of course, would be, or other thing that would happen would be that it gets stuck in the down position and it doesn't turn on the pump. The Zoller uses a single pole. It floats straight up and down. You can hear it clicking on and off. What a great design. Also has a safety bar that just protects this float and the switch. If you're going to put a pump in, put a good one in. So now we're going to go ahead and glue up the pump. Put some on the fitting itself, put some on the riser as well. Push this down into the sump pit, into your pump. Push and hold it. You got to hold it for just a second. There we go. Just hold it tight. That's good. Now we're ready to put the glue on for the 90. This is the tricky part because you have to be able to line that up. Once that fitting goes on there, it's going to be glued. Make sure you get a good amount of glue on there. PVC cement works really good, and it also sets up really quick. We want a lot of glue in there. There we go. Try to line it up so that you're right facing the pipe. Push and hold it. Push down and hold it. There we go. Good. Now we're ready to put our little extension in there. One more thing to glue. We're just going to glue up our final piece to stick it in, stick and hold it. I usually try to twist the fitting so that I know that the glue has coated it. Now we're ready to put our no-hub on there. Then you slide your no-hub on one side and you slide the other side on. It'll be a tight fit, but it'll go. There we go. Real good. Now we just tighten up those clamps. These are 5/16 inch stainless steel clamps. Make sure that you use your handy dandy drill. So now we've got it all installed, the lid put back, condensation lines coming into it, and that pump is on, plugged in to a good GFI switch, and it's ready.
Be very careful of these landscapers claiming that they know how to install the proper system, especially here in Florida. You know, I watch their videos and, you know, they're good videos, but they're charging you so much money because they take so long to install. Yes, we are very quick at what we do because we've been doing it for over 35 years. These newer companies that are trying to sell you on a French drain, they're learning and they're charging you for all the time that they take to install a drain. It doesn't take that long. When we innovated the backyard sump pump way back in 1983, it's such a great feeling to see all these other companies following the lead and actually improving upon it. So take a look, watch the video, and learn how to do this yourself.
Be sure to note how we wrap this sump basin in fabric because of what we're doing here. Take a look. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're putting in a sump pump and sump pit to help relieve a crawl space problem. You can see the problem here. Water just pours down into this crawl space. So basically what we need to do is we need to put a sump pump and a sump pit over here where Dan's digging out, starting to dig out the area. And that water comes from the downspout right here. Of course, you can see it picks up that entire roof. And also from the pool pavers. They've got quite a bit of an area here that collects water. They do have a channel drain, as you can see. And of course, all that just discharges right over here and it really had no place to go. So putting in the sump pump and the pit will allow us to collect the water, and then we'll pump it all the way out to the street.
You know, 25 years ago, we started using this sump liner. Some people call it a sump pit, but it's a sump liner made by ADS. And we started using this in the backyard where it was uphill to the street. And ever since then, you know, I've seen so many companies do the same thing, which is great. And the real secret here is to have a really good pump. And on this one, we're using an M53. It's a little smaller than the M98, but it works great for this application. I really think that Zoeller makes the very best pumps for the backyard situation.
So we're busting off this excess mortar that holds on the pavers just because we've got to have it wide enough for our pit to get inside there. Now we'll go ahead and clean that out. You can see there's a sprinkler line down here. It's also in our way. We may have to cut that and move it, or maybe we can just bend it around the side. We'll see. But right now we're just excavating it and take the shovel and just clean it all out. But you can see we're almost ready to set that pit in here. And from that point, things will really move along. So we've got the hole for the sump basin installed down here. And you can see now we had to pull the pavers, so we stacked them out here on the side, the way that they were pulled out. And then we just trench a little line. It just has to be barely under the ground. And using the pick works really good. So you just scrape through it with the pick, and you'll be probably at the perfect depth. We just need to be underneath of those pavers. And then we'll hook into the discharge pipe that we've already installed on the other side.
Okay, we're ready to start setting the sump basin, the sump pit. And what we need to do here is to perforate this pit, and we'll surround that with some fabric so that no soil can get down inside that pit. Very important to remember that you need to wrap that if you're in a sandy area, and or if you just simply perforate your pit. You need to wrap that with fabric so that no debris can get down inside. Real simple, drill a bunch of holes all around it just to let the water in. And always remember to put gravel around the outside of your basin. That allows the water just to perk right straight into the pit. Works really good. In fact, sometimes you can just put the sump basin, out there, and you'll be able to collect the water without the French drain or the catch basin, but not always. This sump liner made by ADS is not a catch basin, and people get that confused. It's not a catch basin. This is a sump liner. We call it a sump pit, but it's not a catch basin. It does not have a grate on the top. It has a solid lid cover, and you really need that solid lid cover to help keep the debris out. I think the best place to find all the drainage supplies is Lowe's. Home Depot does carry some, but Lowe's carries a much larger selection of everything. So a really key note is the soil separator.
We need to use the soil separator. We wrap that around our pit, and then we're just going to secure that with some duct tape just to hold it in place. And then we'll cut this off, and we'll set the pit in place, and we're ready to install the pump. So you can see we've wrapped the pit with landscape fabric, the drainage fabric, opened a hole because this is our inlet line. Let's just make sure everything fits properly down in here. Oh yeah, looking real good. So next we're going to pour some gravel around the sides of it right here, so that all the water can just perk in. As that groundwater rises, we want to make sure that it enters our pit. So we've got some gravel by the bag. You can use either marble chips or drainage rock, either one. takes a lot of gravel, so be prepared. So we've got our stone coming all the way around the sides and the of the sump basin. Now we're going to go ahead and set our pump in here. We're going to plumb that. We're going to drill a hole right through here for our discharge, a 2-inch hole for 1.5-inch pipe. Just going to come over and tie into where we are. Okay, so we've got our plumbing all done. You can see we've got a 4-inch pipe coming up to their downspout. Put a 90 on it, a T of course to bring that in. That all discharges into the pit. We also put a catch basin here because this area is going to be gravel, and what it's doing is it's picking up the channel drain because there's not really any fittings. This is, by the way, called super channel drain, and it's 1.5-inch bottom at square top. But we're just going to bring gravel here and let it drop right into our catch basin, which goes into the sump pit, and the pump will carry it out. On the other side, we're just getting underneath the pavers for future expansion, and we're just putting a little 90 on the other end. We'll put a grate on the top. Any water that comes across the yard will drop into that system. So now let's go ahead and plumb the pump. So we're going to go ahead and glue this up. Zoller M53. This is our riser. Push it, twist it, and hold it. Hold it in place just for a second because it really has to grab a hold. Next, we're going to put our 90 on it so that we can come through the hole that we drilled, and we're going to come across and hook into that piece of PVC on the other side. So let's go ahead and glue our 90 on. Remember, everything's movable at this point, but we can come pretty close here. Looks real good. So now we're going to go ahead and glue up the discharge line. Good amount of glue around there, some on the inside of your coupling. Then we're just going to push it together. Yeah, hold that, and we got her. Okay, so now we're going to make our final connection. I'm going to go ahead and glue up our 90. Get a little bit more on here. Remember, PVC, once it touches the other section, it will bind this on there and glue it. It just welds it together. So you got to be ready to do it quick. We'll start with the discharge from the pump. Push and hold. And then we're just going to push and hold the next piece. Couple seconds. We got her. So now we've got our pump installed. You can see the pump down in the bottom of the pit. Everything's looking really good. We're ready to put the lid on and basically cover this up with gravel and cover up the discharge back there. We're all set. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. MDS pop-ups, 4-inch 90. It has a pre-drilled slot here at the bottom. Little cap that pops on the top. We're going to cut this to length. And basically we're going to attach this 4-inch pipe to the MDS 90. And you notice it doesn't fit, right? So we've got to make an adjustment. So you notice that this is a PVC fitting, thin wall PVC, and it does not fit the corrugated pipe. There are truly 20 or 30 different types of adapters, and they all work really good. What we're going to do is use this section of this adapter. It's got some little barbs in here, and it's going to snap into place. Very secure, will not come off. Then we're going to go ahead and just push our 90 onto this adapter, and we're all done. It's set. We'll go ahead and set this to grade and backfill, and that's how simple it is to put a pop-up on. It's not difficult at all. And whether you use this adapter or several other adapters, they all work great. So you can see I basically just cut the sod around the whole pipe, backfilled underneath of it. It's nice and secure. Remember, it already has a slot cut in it in that 90 to let the water drain. So as water comes down the line, it pushes up this pop-up. Whoops, get my finger down under there. Pushes this pop-up up, and the water disperses just right across the yard. Really simple. And don't be fooled. These things are readily available. So much easier to get these at Home Depot, or at Lowe's, either one, Ace. They're everywhere, and I think they're about 15 bucks. There's other options. I've showed you many other options of how you can do this. And you can see we've got this all put up. This line goes all the way up to that downspout, through all of the bushes, through the sprinklers. Piece of cake, guys. Easy job that you can easily do yourself, I promise. Not hard to do. A little bit of cleanup, and we're done. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. Hey, just a quick reminder, I've said it a couple times. If you are interested in getting some work done by Apple Drains, I urge you to get on our schedule. We are extremely busy this time of year, even up north. It doesn't matter. The schedule fills quickly. We're here in Orlando right now, and if you need to be on this schedule, this is by far the busiest office of all. So please, if you're interested, go to the service sign up and sign up online.
We have 100% success rate with every job we do. Please, don't be fooled by these other companies, especially landscapers. They are really not the people to install your French drain or downspout drain or any rainwater drainage system.